Hello, family. Your sister, friend, cousin, Tony here. I just want to talk about questions I've been asked. I've been asked questions about my first child. How did you know he have autism? How did you know where to get him tested, evaluated? What signs did you see? And a host of other questions. So I just want to get on here and just tell you all the story of how I found out my firstborn had autism. Mind you, I was a new mother, never heard of autism before, didn't know what it was. So it was all new to me. He was born, and when you have a child born, the hospital they run different tests: hearing tests, vision tests, newborn screen, they get shots, they do blood work, see what the blood type is, and a host of other things. He passed all his tests but the newborn screen. No one knew why. They told me to speak to his pediatrician about it. So at his 2-week appointment, spoke to his pediatrician about it. And he referred him to different specialists, different doctors. They drew blood, all kind of things. He was so little. It used to hurt my heart so bad. I used to cry because I'm like, this needle was going to my little 4-week-old baby, 6-week-old baby. They ran so many different tests. Nothing ever came back. They don't know why. He failed his newborn screen. So we didn't really worry about it. We went on as normal, and when he was a baby, a lady used to watch him at her home. She watched him up until he was about 12 months. When he turned 12 months, I ended up putting him in a child care center. I wanted him to be around other children his age, learning, different things, shapes, colors, letters, words. So I sent him to a child care center at 12 months. And if any parent knows, once you send your child to a new place, they cry. He cried for about 2 weeks. He used to hurt my feelings so bad. I used to go to work and be so sad, and would just call the child care center every few hours to check on him, make sure he was fine. He was okay. He was there about 6 months. So around the 18th month mark, one of his teachers came to me one day when I was picking him up, and she was saying, have you ever thought about getting him tested for autism or, a delay? And I was like, what is autism? What do you mean? And she was like, well, I don't want to offend you. I'm not trying to offend you, but I do see signs of him being delayed in a lot of different areas. And some of the signs she's seen while he was there was him playing by himself. He didn't really interact with other children. He enjoyed playing by himself. Certain foods and textures he wouldn't touch or eat. And he wasn't saying words. He wasn't verbal. Me, as a new parent, I'm like, well, kids 18 months, some kids aren't ready to talk yet. He's been in a home daycare for 12 months. He's been here for 6. It may take him some time. So when she said that, of course, I was irritated. I'm like, what are you trying to classify my child as being, slow or, whatever. I was very I didn't like what she was saying. But after taking some time to process what she said, I made him an appointment with his pediatrician. And he had this form that, he asked the parents question about certain milestones. And a lot of the milestones that he was supposed to reach at his age, he did not reach. And he suggested that I get a referral to Vanderbilt to see a specialist. So, no, let me take that back. He requested that I contact the early intervention program through the state to get services for speech delay, occupational therapy. So I did. I contacted them, And they came out to my home. They did an evaluation, and they said that they feel that he needs speech therapy and occupational therapy. He started that for, I want to say, 2 months he was in. When they first did the evaluation, I did mention that his teacher did bring up autism, and she was saying that she sees signs of autism. And the person that did the testing, she said, yes, I see signs too. We can submit a referral to Vanderbilt, and they can put him on the list to get tested. And she said, I will warn you, the list is up to a year. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. She said, but I can try to get it expedited. So she put in the referral to Vanderbilt, and they end up contacting us 6 months later, I want to say, 6 months later. And they set an appointment. And we went to the appointment. I remember it was in February, right before Valentine's Day. And we went there. We was greeted by the front desk, and then they took us in the back in this room that was full of toys and blocks, all kind of toys, cars, buses, blocks, paper, pencils, crayons, all type of different things that kids love, right? So we was there. She asked me and his dad questions about him, different milestones, kind of the same questions pediatrician asked. And they started to play with him to see if he imitated things that they did. One of the things that they tried to do was acting like they were feeding a baby with a bottle to see if he imitated. He didn't imitate that. In my head, I'm like, well, boys don't really imitate holding a baby and feeding a baby, right? That's mostly girls that imitate that. And they, drove a car across the table to see if he, in a straight line, to see if he would drive the car across the table. And at the time, he was fascinated with wheels. So he played with cars upside down. He would spin the tires and look at the tires. That's how he played with cars. As they were testing him, as he was playing with the cars and the other tests that they done, one of them was taking notes. There was two of them in the room. One was taking notes and the other one was playing with MJ. Some of the other things they did was they had blocks. They tried to see if he knew how to stack blocks on top of each other, make different towers. They seen if he could recognize letters and numbers, colors and shapes. They had maybe a cup and put it to their mouth to see if he would put a cup to his mouth. They had different kind of snacks like gummy bears, Starburst, M&Ms, I guess to display different colors and textures to see how he would respond to that. And a host of other different things they were doing. And once he was done, it took about, I want to say, an hour and a half for the testing. And once he was done, they told us that they will give us a call back and let us know the results. It took them about, I want to say, and mind you, this was 9 years ago. So it was a while. My other two were more recent, and I'll give you a story on theirs. Each evaluation that my children had, each one of them, I have 3, they were all different. So the younger two, more recent. So this one was 9 years ago. I'm pretty sure they made a lot of different changes since 9 years ago than they do now. And then we'll talk about that in my other videos. I will talk about each one and the process of each one. So they end up calling back. They called back and told me that report was ready. They had sent the report to my email address, and it was very long. It was quite a bit of pages. I think I want to say like 6 pages long. And they had recommendations in there, different resources like Autism Speak, Autism of Tennessee. They had a lot of different resources, a lot of different therapies they could do. They actually wanted him to go to therapy at Vanderbilt, but I declined the services at Vanderbilt. And it was very overwhelming to get the results. I did not want to believe that my child had autism. It's all kind of thoughts running through my head. Is he going to ever have any friends? Are people going to look at him differently? Will he ever be independent, able to live on his own? It was just a lot of things running through my head. It took me a while to process it, months to process it. It took me a while to even tell people that he had autism. I didn't want to believe it. I was in denial. When they did call me for his evaluation, the results from the evaluation, and, like I said, I didn't believe it. And they told me, well, we will retest him a year later. And once we retest him a year later, the diagnosis change, we'll change the diagnosis, which I thought that was very weird. But, I'm like, okay, because they're like, he is very young. He was about to be 2. So he was some days away from his second birthday at the time. So they, they'll say they'll do it a year later. And yeah, it took me a while. I think this is my first time actually speaking about the experience of it all. And like I said, he's 11, about to be 12 now. This is my first time talking about it, and even talking about it kind of give me emotions that I had back then. Brings back a lot of emotions. But he did get tested a year later. He went back and did an evaluation a year later. It was more so of the same from the first time. And the autism diagnosis, of course, stuck. They were like, yes, he does indeed have autism. But I will say he is, like I said, about to be 12 now. He's in the 6th grade, first year in middle school. He's thriving. He's made A's. And I think the last report card, he had all A's and 1 B. And he is doing so good. He's in gen ed classes. He only receives speech right now, and I think they're trying to graduate him out of speech. I chose not to, but he's doing so good. He just got a letter to join a club for having great academics and showing good character. He has come such a long way, and I just want to let people that have newly diagnosed children know that they will be great. Don't worry. They will be fine. They're going to excel. Early intervention does matter. Early intervention does matter. I want to stress that enough. Early intervention matters. It matters. If you're worried, speech therapists, occupational therapists, they are great. They went to school for this. They got a degree in it. They are great. They got MJ to do and say things that I could not. It really helped him along this journey. Early intervention did. And so I just want to let you know that the newly diagnosed mothers, parents, fathers, guardians, early intervention matters. Services matter. Don't let the stigma, not let your children get services. Don't let the stigma not let your children get services, because it does great things. Like I said, he's excelling now. He's making good grades. The last semester he took computer science and he made an A in computer science. He knows how to code. He can do web pages now. His favorite subject is math. He make A's in every math class. He took 2 math electives this school year. Do not let the stigma fool you, okay? So I just want to come on here and explain the process of how I got my first son, diagnosed with autism and what it took and how I even, like I said, I didn't know what autism was. So this is all new to me. But I just want to come on here and share the story of my firstborn. Thank you. I will tell you about the story of my younger two, my 4-year-old and about to be 3-year-old that also went through this process, but it was totally different than it was 9 years ago. So if you're interested in hearing about that, please like and subscribe so you do not miss the video. Please like and subscribe so you do not miss it. I have some gems for you all. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.